This video was made in association with African Custom Knives. ACK is the leading US-based purveyor of South African handmade cutlery. Head over to AfricanCustomKnives.com for exclusive deals on rare custom knives. What is up, everybody, and welcome to a very special sort of sneak peek slash lovely loners slash collection commentary. This is kind of everything that I do all in one. I don't have a script for this. I'm just super excited. I really want to be able to share this with you guys. I do, of course, still have my hand injury, and so I'm just having a little bit of difficulty doing things in the classic sense of how I normally do my videos. But sharing this with you guys absolutely could not wait. So I'm just going to go ahead and jump into it. And what you guys are looking at are two examples of the A Squared Knives A6 Minis. This model was just released at G9, the recent knife show, and there are, I'm told, 4 examples in the United States and a 5th example somewhere else, and I have 2 out of 5 worldwide on the table right now. I don't know if that's like 100% true. That's what I've been told by the people who have procured the knives, and so whatever, we'll see. But I'm really excited to be able to share this with you guys because it is a new model and I have fallen completely in love with it. So I want to talk to you a little bit about how I got these and what's sitting in front of us. This knife right here is on loan from African Custom Knives. You guys would have seen the intro to this video. African Custom Knives is, of course, a wonderful, wonderful knife dealer who specializes in South African knives and some other African makers, and they get all kinds of great stuff. So the company is run by 2 brothers, Nolan and Nathan, and this is Nolan's personal knife. So this is a lightning strike carbon fiber A6 Mini with a gloss finish and a carbon fiber backspacer in a gloss finish. Super wicked. And Nolan sent this to me along with a bunch of other knives that you guys are going to get to see in upcoming videos, so definitely look for that. I'm very excited to be able to share a bunch of knives with you guys. But he sent this to me. This is his personal knife, and I took it out of the box, and I absolutely fell in love with this little freaking thing. So I don't know about you guys, but I'm a sucker for like when really classic large knife designs are scaled down. So the Mini Bodega is a great example of that. Anytime, you know, a sort of famous design that comes in a large knife and was designed to be a large knife is scaled down, I love it because they just look so cute to me. You know, the thing about a small knife that's designed small, maybe a CRK Menandi, for example, you know, if you design a small knife, then you design around the knife being small. So the ergonomics work on a small scale, and the blade shape works on a small scale, and the whole overall design is to be small. And the same is true on a large knife. So if you take an aggressive design like this one, where you have this cutout here, on the full-size A6 model, and on any of like the muscle or whatever, these Tashi sort of designs, these 2 sections are each large enough on the big knife to fit these 2 fingers and these 2 fingers respectively. And you can see I can still kind of cram in here a little bit on this knife. But that's how you hold the knife on the big scale. And, you know, the same is true of like the Bodega or the Glimpse. They've all been designed to where the actual design serves correctly for the size of the knife. So when these large knife designs are scaled down on a 1-to-1 scale, the results to me are just amazing. I love it. They don't work the way they should. Like, the ergonomics are never right, especially like the Mini Bodega sucks in terms of the ergonomics. And the ergonomics on this little thing, while far better than the Mini Bodega, I must admit, are not stellar, right? Like, you're still pretty cramped getting in on this thing. And none of that matters to me. It's just purely from a perspective of like being a collector and just like appreciating what the knives are. These little mini versions, I absolutely love them. So I completely fell in love with this knife as soon as Nolan sent it to me, and I knew that I had to have one. Now, being only a few examples on the market, I was obviously hard-pressed to be able to find one, but for some reason, I had seen that one of these had made it onto Nordic Knives, which is a dealer, and I had seen it a while ago, and I was like, oh, that's cool that they have one. It's interesting that they picked that up from G9. I'll keep that in mind. And then I kind of moved on, and weeks passed, and then I ended up getting this, and I remembered, hey, there's one on Nordic Knives. So I went back to the website, and there it was, buried 3 pages deep on the new custom knife section of the website, was this still available knife. And I think that the reason it was still available is because it got so quickly buried on the 3rd page of the website, because this is a highly sought after piece with so few available and such demand for A-squared knives right now. I've actually talked to multiple collectors who don't quite know that I have this yet. This just came in today. I fell in love with this version and that they should definitely want one. And a lot of them now have it at the very top of their list. And so I felt quite sneaky being able to jump in and still pick this up weeks after it was listed for sale. I am aware of a couple more of these are, the 2 other North American ones. I believe I know who the owner of one model is, and then the other model is at another dealer right now. I do know who the dealer is, and I do know that version is in a marble carbon fiber finish. But I don't want to say it in the video because I don't know if they have a buyer already set up for it, and they haven't listed it online. I just know they're in possession of it. So I don't want to be kind of unfair and announce that here without them actually listing it for sale. But if you are interested in finding out who that dealer is so you can contact them directly, feel free to message me or email me privately. And I'll ask them if I can let you know, essentially. But anyway, so I did manage to pick this up. It came in today, and man, I'm just so happy to be able to get my hands on this. Now, one of the things that a longtime viewer might be asking themselves at this point is, Tyler, what the hell are you doing with a bronze liner knife? And so I do want to let you know that I have already scheduled to have these liners redone in a violet or a purple from Matt at Tie Spectrum, and this knife will be going out Monday morning, so I'll have it for a couple days, and then I'll be sending it back out for some new liners, because of course this bronze is not going to last in the collection. Now, I do want to talk about the difference between these 2 knives, because I'll be quite frank and honest, which is that I really loved this knife, and in the pictures, this knife looked identical to this one. So I ordered it, and when it came today, I realized that there's actually 2 completely different finishes on each of these knives, despite the fact that they're both still silver lightning strike carbon fiber. So let's take a look. I'm going to stand up here and just kind of show you guys. You can see this knife, Nolan's knife, has a glossy finish. It's almost like some sort of lacquer or something over the top to give it a nice, full, kind of glossy appearance. And you can see that reflected in the carbon fiber backspacer as well. Really pronounced and highly contrasted. And then in mine, you can see it's actually a matte finish on the lightning strike carbon fiber. Give you the direct comparison there. So my knife is much grippier. This knife is much slippier. This knife is grippier. And this knife is, of course, shinier with a little bit more full of an appearance versus this one. And you can also see in the carbon fiber backspacer, the matteness is reflected. So it's not quite as pronounced or highly contrasted. And yeah, I'll be perfectly honest. I would have preferred this. I honestly thought this is what I was getting, the glossy finish. I do not dislike the matte finish. In fact, I would argue that I do prefer the grippiness in terms of how it feels in the hand. And I also think that the matte finish is going to go very well with purple liners. I think that's going to be a good look. If I could really have it my way, the backspacer at least would have gotten the glossy treatment so that the carbon fiber was a little bit more pronounced. It's very obviously carbon fiber on this backspacer, and on this one you could easily mistake it for G10 if you weren't looking close enough. So, that's a little bit of a gripe, and whatever, that's my fault for jumping in and buying the knife. But I have to say I do love it, and there's nothing about it that makes me not want it. And so the action on this thing, super snappy, right? Like crazy. I mean, it's Andre Thorburn and Andre Van Heerden. There's no question that the action is going to be super snappy. And then even with these tiny little blades on these tiny little knives, we do get a beautiful little IKBS drop shut action. Now, both of these are like This one is brand new, right? I got it today. This one is only a couple weeks old. So mind you that these will break in and they will get even smoother. But right now, I'm just, with a left hand and a bum hand, I don't do the best job of showing you how smoothly it closes. But man, they are smooth little knives, let me tell you. And guys, the last thing that I'll say about this knife, I've gotten to carry Nolan's for 3 or 4 days now, even though I just got mine, so I do have some opinions. Of course, neither knife has any lock stick or any issues like that. And the clip is perhaps the single best feature on this knife. This has been the best clip I've ever had. I know that if you're a longtime viewer, you know that there are 2 other knives that I've said something similar about. The Custom Knife Factory Stosspiker custom Tegral that I had on loan from my friend Sid. And that thing was absolutely sick. And then I forget the other knife that I talked about having basically a perfect clip on. And then I know that my Thorburn L36M has essentially a perfect clip. This is still better than all of those. I don't know what it is. The tension and just the super upsweptness of the end here is all just perfect. And this thing, I love it. I literally can just take one hand and just go whoop, whoop, in and out of the pocket. Whoop, whoop. Just like that. Super easy, super quick, no questions. I mean, it's perfect. And the tension is great. It's such a light knife that doesn't need a whole lot of tension. And so that works very well. Speaking of light knife, I actually forgot to do some specs here. I do apologize. We're kind of jumping back to the beginning of the video. Let's check out the weight on these. I have not measured either of these yet, or weighed them, excuse me. And so I'm really actually kind of antsy to see what they weigh. Because they are very tiny. 2.65 ounces. Yeah, these things are no joke. With full carbon fiber scales and everything at this size, 2.65 is incredibly light. Now, this is not the most accurate scale, but let's see if there's any difference. 2.68. 2.65. 2.68. So 0.03 ounce difference between the 2 knives. And I don't know what that comes from other than these scales maybe look a teensy bit thicker. Yeah, that's just pure difference in hand finishing. So that's pretty interesting. And then I do want to give you guys, before we go here, a size comparison, just so you can understand the scale that these are on. I believe it's 6 point... Here, we'll just measure it in terms of length. All right. So as you can see, this might be the first knife since I started doing size comparisons that is actually dwarfed by the Rat 2. It is an incredibly tiny little knife. So I think it's 6 point something ounces or inches. This is 6 inches. Yeah, 6.75 maybe. I apologize. Okay, so we're looking at 6.75. That's what I thought I read on the website. I just wasn't 100% sure off the top of my head. 6.75 inches. Very, very tiny knife. I am completely smitten with these things, man. So that's pretty much it, guys. If you have an opportunity to purchase an A6 Mini, and this is a knife that you think you are attracted to, I cannot recommend it enough. It might be my new favorite South African custom model. I gotta say, I love it, guys. I love carrying it. I think it's adorable. I think it's super cool looking. I love the finishing. They just make such an amazing knife, and like, it's just so good, guys. I'm completely blown away with this knife. So I'm super excited to own this. I'm super excited to pass this knife over to Matt at Tie Spectrum and get some purple liners on there. Of course, if you guys are interested in purchasing one of these for yourselves, if you want that marble carbon fiber one, you can hit me up and let me know, and I will try to put you in touch with the powers that be. So thanks so much for watching, guys. Of course, if you'd like to see amazing pictures of these two little guys or any of these beautiful knives, you can do so by following me on Instagram at tovarishworks. And if you'd like to send me an email, you can do so by emailing me at tovarishworks@gmail.com. Thanks so much for watching, guys, and I will see you next time.